Hello, my name is Masheika Allgood. I'm the founder of Ally Consulting LLC. Uh, Welcome to our initial video event. Let me get into the presentation. Okay, so AI and the lawyer. So you want to be a product manager. This event came about as part of a discussion I was having in a Facebook group. Thank you for showing up. Um, and yeah, let's just get into it. So what we'll discuss, looking at myself here. So we'll discuss the following topics. First, what is a product manager? Second, transferable skills between the roles, product manager and lawyer. Next, the process of making the transition or what you need to assist you in making the transition. And then exciting challenges in product management. And then finally, we'll leave a little space for question Q&A. So first, what's a product manager? So product managers, according to our definition, own the business strategy behind a product. They specify its functional requirements and generally manage the launch of features, also maintenance. They coordinate work done by many other functions and are ultimately responsible for the business success of the product. So I guess this is a good time to explain that there's a difference between a project manager and a product manager. So a project manager comes in and accomplishes a specific goal. So they get a project up and running, they do a launch or a specific feature, something of that nature. But the main difference is their scope is limited in time and responsibility, whereas the product manager owns the product. Like everything about the product is theirs. And so they're required to own every process of it from basically pre-launch and ideation all the way through maintenance and rolling out features over time. So there's a difference of ownership and there's a difference of scope of responsibility. So this talk is tailored to product manager because like product managers, lawyers own our own function within a company. So it's a nice mix. I like to think of project managers more as like kind of organizational, whereas a product manager has greater responsibility than that. So the role of a product manager, looking at them in the context of relationships, right? So the product management function sits in the intersection between engineering and developers, external customers, and internal customers. Your job is to manage all of those needs, all of their individual responsibilities towards these three goals, which is determining what you want to build, which is you're getting information from your customers and end users about what they want. You're getting information from your engineers and developers about the knowledge around designing a product. And then from your internal customers, you're getting business goals. And I put internal customers because it's not just sales or marketing, but you may have to work with IT. You may have to work with other parts of the internal organization if you're building infrastructure, per se, as opposed to just external customer products. So the first thing is you get from everyone kind of what they want you to build, right? And then you have to figure out what you're actually capable of building. And so you're going to get from the engineering and developers, what are the technical abilities and limitations, either of the technology itself or of your engineering group, your hardware, your software, what are your internal capabilities? From your internal customers, you're going to get what are the organizational needs as well as your limitations. So, if the organization doesn't have the resources or doesn't have the financing in a certain way, or can't meet a specific thing that the customer wants because it's outside of the scope of what your organization typically does or feels capable or comfortable in doing. And then you're looking at internal resources, right? So what is your HR ability? What is your finance? What is your scope of your operations? Can you get certain materials at certain times? Do you have a maintenance team to run this system over time if you want to do a pretty extensive system? Things of that nature. So you're going to get your kind of like your limitations, right, from your internal sources. So that's going to be engineering, developers, and your internal customers. Then you need to actually kind of figure out what needs to be built, right? And that's where product management kind of plays this central role in kind of prioritizing requirements, right? So the end customer is going to tell you what they want, but you need to be able to figure out within that what they need, right? And then it's for product management to determine or to ensure that this product has an end value, whether it's for internal customers or external customers. You're not building stuff just to build it. So you're going to have to be able to prove some sort of ROI, some sort of customer engagement lift, something that provides some sort of business value for the company internally or externally. And then it's wholly on product management to ensure product market fit. So a lot of times, we find these cool products and we think they'll be great. But, my understanding of my industry as a product manager, this is not going to fit, within what's already there. Either it's, the market is too saturated in this area. This is more of a want, not a need, things of that nature. So the role of the product manager is to take all of this information from, all these various groups and then determine, what you want to build, what you're capable of building, and what needs to be built, and then create a plan based on that analysis. Okay, so transferable skills between product management and law. So I think it was Harvard Business Review had a list of skills that you need to be a good product manager. And come to find out, those same skills are what you need to get by in your legal practice. So emotional intelligence, relationship management, objectivity and self-awareness. So understanding what my goals and my needs and what I want are, and separate that from the goals, the needs, the wants of the people I'm working with, my internal, external customers, or people in that circle that I'm trying to manage. Self-management, because nobody really tells you. You get deadlines, just like you do in law. You get deadlines, right? This needs to be filed at this month, at this time. You got 20 business days or whatever, but you have to manage your time within that. It's very similar for product management. Is you have an end goal. I want to ship or I want the product to be complete by X date, right? And so you have to manage the steps that get there to make sure you meet at that time. And you also have to manage the people around you and make sure that they give you the information you need to get there within that time frame, which is the same that you do with people who are giving you research, so your clerks or your interns or senior partners who may have to play a piece of the role or give you some information. So you have to manage the information around you to make sure that you meet your time goals. Social awareness. One of the things that you need to bring into the fold as a product manager is context, because engineering doesn't have it, business doesn't have it. It's your job to interface with the customer and get context for how this product is going to be deployed, who it's going to affect, who's involved in the process. It's kind of similar to what you need in law. You need to understand the situation around your case. So you can't be so focused on your case that you miss out on, well, this judge prefers this kind of pleading, or they're more amenable to this kind of argument. You have to be aware of the social construct around your case in the same way that you have to be aware of the social construct around your product. Continual learning, that's forced in the law through your CLEs, but some of us, are more likely to do it than others. It's required in product management because particularly software products, things are constantly changing and evolving. What we learn through research, gets brought into your products. Your customers are moving in different directions and you have to stay on top of that. So you have to be able and willing to continually learn and kind of reinvent your body of knowledge. Also, people expect product managers to be flexible. Like you may start out on a specific product, but the life cycle of a product manager is you should be able to move, for throughout the company, a couple years on this product, a couple years on that product. So that's kind of like what is expected. So you need to be able to be comfortable with learning on a continual basis. Research, foundation of law, doesn't even need to be explained. The exact same with product management. That's how you stay ahead of the game. You rely on engineering for their technical expertise, but you need to bring something to the table as well. Because once again, they have their own context of what they want and what they need. And so you need to be able to look in the best interest of your product and understand the technology around it to where you can bring some ideas in and you can, deny some ideas that you don't think are long-term. But if you're not willing to do the research on a regular basis, then you're not able to be a partner to engineering to help, make sure that this product is just, the best product can be. Now, the one skill that is not transferable, which all the arrows are, technical curiosity. You need curiosity in law. We prefer curious lawyers, but it's not a make or break situation. In order to be a product manager, you have to be technically curious. It's the same as being legally curious in law. Like, you have to be willing to basically do the research on your own time. You have to be willing to continue to improve yourself with your technical skills. So that is the key difference between the skills between law and product management. So we'll key in a little bit on this in our next slide. So if you want to transition from law to product management, the key is going to be technical skills. Like, that is really the big difference between the two roles, right? So you have to be able to indicate that you are technically curious and that you have technical capabilities, right? We know you can research, but can you research in a technical vein? Are these concepts something that you can pick up and actually use? And so there are different ways that you can kind of show that you can move into the technical arena. So for me, I had done an international business internship, and I had to learn HTML, CSS in order to build websites. And so I had that technical skill. So there was some indication that, I might be able to learn other technical skills. And so a lot of my initial interview was around, here's our product. How would you consider it? Can you understand the ins and outs if I explain them to you? And can you ask relevant and intelligent questions based on what I've explained? So to put yourself in a position to even have those conversations, you're going to have to demonstrate something along these lines. So if you learn a programming language, some people enjoy that. I learned HTML, CSS. They're not really programming languages. They're kind of the bare minimum, but it was sufficient to get me in. Design or redesign a website. So UX and UI, user experience. What is UI? I can't remember that right now, but user experience is a big area of technical skill, because if you're building customer-facing products, they need to be able to be pleasing and and get the job done, basically. And so they need to be designed in a way that is user-friendly. So UX and UI is a key skill for a lot of product managers, because you need to be able to ensure that the customer is getting the information they need to use the product in the right way, and to give you back through the data they give back, the information that you need. Take artificial intelligence courses. I took several on LinkedIn. Shameless plug, this link below is to a series of foundational AI courses that I'm actually creating. I'm looking for beta testers at the moment, but the idea is to teach AI in a way that is accessible to everyone, so not overly technical. Technical writing, which was another skill that I had moving in. I had technical writing skills in mainly finance, actually, but they saw that as value because it showed that I could write outside of the law, and that's really what's required, or what's preferred. Data science and analytics, which actually is moving its way into the law right now. So it's just kind of a good skill to have, because we have massive amounts of data in our firms. And so the idea is, can we start looking at that data and using it to better our business practices, to better the way that we, the way that we vet cases, things of that nature. So it may just be good for you in a legal sense, but having data science and analytic skills are definitely transferable into tech, and into product management. Product lifecycle management is just basically, there are a variety of different ways that engineering teams kind of manage how they build products. And so there have been these lifecycle kind of structures, processes that were built around that. And so you may have heard of Agile, Scrums, things of that nature. If you are interested in more like the process of building software products, then product lifecycle management are some good skills to have, and they may be useful. But these are just a couple things that I've listed. There's a variety of areas where you can pick up technical skills, things that you may want to show. Can you do mock-ups? So like, there are a couple programs that you can use to kind of draw out like a software kind of plan. So like, kind of like a use case. Going step by step through how someone will use your software to get to where they need, or drawing out the different screens that are necessary for a customer to complete an action. Those kind of things are kind of UX, UI, but product managers definitely need to be able to do mockups. I've had to do them to explain the flow I wanted a customer to go through to commit a certain or to perform a certain action. So it is a skill that you need in product management. And so it would be also useful for you to bring into discussion if you're trying to make that transition. But the main point of this slide is you're going to have to indicate that you are willing and capable to learn some skills that are technically based and outside of the realm of traditional law. Okay, exciting challenges. Reasons why outside of I want something different than law, reasons why you may actually want to engage in being a product manager. So I wrote a paper last year about ensuring fitness of purpose. And it's basically looking at the seminal role that a product manager has in developing ethical AI. So, we've all seen the movies lately, Social Network, Coded Bias, and you see it's becoming more in the public realm about, what happens when AI is designed in a way that disenfranchises or discriminates against certain groups. It's becoming a legal issue. And so we're looking at the EU regulations they just passed or they just put out on AI that they're, discussing. They're starting to come into your cases. So the Compass situation with algorithmic bias, with sentencing, algorithmic decision making around sentencing. So it's moving into the legal sphere, but if you want to be involved with the product itself, right? Because we have this idea of risk and balancing, different users or different customers' needs and wants against others, we're kind of uniquely suited to sit in this place of kind of like translators, right, between customers and developers to make sure that the products that are being built kind of take social constructs, social norms, and kind of legal responsibilities in mind when we're building the products. So I think there's a really exciting opportunity for lawyers to kind of transition into this role where we can get hands-on, and instead of working on deciding or determining liability once these products are on the open, kind of preventing it from ever happening by being involved in the actual design and creation and maintenance of the product, which is just a new and interesting area for us. So the cool thing about product management is there's no straight path. Like schools are starting to create product management, focused courses and tracks, but product managers come from all walks of life. They come from engineering, they come from law, they come from business. I just read an article about MBAs really trying to get into product management. A lot of engineers actually go and get an MBA so that they can get into product management. But there is no set of educational requirements or skills that you need to kind of have. There's no certification that's required for you to move into product management. So it's really, are you technically curious and do you have these transferable skills that we discussed earlier? And if you do, there are some really exciting applications across, all fields of endeavor, law, health, education, engineering, geography, astronomy, really, software, AI touches every field of human endeavor, even down to the arts. I worked at a company that built hardware, but we built software to enable that hardware. And the software dealt a lot with graphics and, graphic design and, the ability to do that, in a collaborative setting, kind of online. So just really interesting applications that you wouldn't necessarily consider from the outside looking in, but if you spend some time looking at the different, product management roles in different companies, there's some really cool stuff that you can get into. If you're into finance, there's a lot of, different applications in finance. And if you're already kind of dealing with that in the law, then you have some industry knowledge that, will be of value if you try to make that transition. So don't think that you're so far out, of, law is so separate from everything else that there's no clear path for transition. There is, product management. And if you want to key in on an area that you're already kind of into, so as I mentioned, finance, that's a really smooth transition. If you want to do something completely different, do your research, show some skills in that area, and then that becomes a pretty smooth transition as well. So thank you for joining me for my short talk. I appreciate your time, and I hope this has piqued your interest in trying a new role in product management. Thank you for participating, and I'll open the floor for questions.